Yeah, I know I shouldn't start like an inspirational Q&A with, oh, I've literally just squeezed the little people in bed, ready to be here. So I'm keeping my fingers very, very crossed that they're actually going to stay in bed and be asleep. I am manifesting them staying in bed and being fast asleep. But this evening is an opportunity for us to just literally hang out, be together. I know when people first come across EAM, the energy alignment method, there are so many questions that come up because the possibilities for what's possible, the different things that you can use it for to change your life, how to put the sway into practice with relationships or health or wealth or changing your mindset, letting go of negative emotions, releasing stress, changing physical health, calling in more money, sorting out your career, getting clear on your purpose, getting clear on your clarity, like so many things. It's like, where do we begin? And as much as I would love to be here and teach you every single day, because there are so many ways to put the 5 steps of EAM into practice, what we really want to do is to actually show you so that you know how to use the 5 steps for yourself. Because once you have them in your hands, once you actually know how to use the 5 steps, you can put them into practice on anything, on any area of your life that you choose. And that takes a little bit of practice, but once you have it, it really is a tool for life. So thank you to those of you who are here with us now, joining in live. This really is an interactive conversation. So please tell us where you are, or say hi and let us know that you're here, whether you're watching live or watching on the replay. We are mainly streaming over on Facebook if you've got questions, and you'll find us under the Energy Alignment Method or facebook.com/EAM Energy, and you'll find us streaming live there. So for those of you who are here, please do come and say hello. There's like a little delay between me streaming and you actually hearing me, so please say hello. Let us know if you are a newbie, like completely new to EAM, not really put it into practice, just happened to have stumbled across the Fear to Love lives that we've been doing recently, or if you've been around a little while, you know, perhaps you've been on one of our one-day events or one of the short courses, or been through some of our introductory journeys before, or if you're one of us, if you're already a big part of the community and you're really using EAM to put it into practice in your life, please just let us know here. And if you think you've got any friends that might be intrigued, interested, got some questions, need to figure out how to change their life, then tag them, share this, let them know that we're live tonight. We really are here to answer whatever is coming up for you. So can you let me know which one of those 3 you are? If you're a newbie, if you've been around, or if you're one of us, because it really is going to help me to serve you best tonight with what we do on the Q&As. I have my flip chart, my very, very trusty assistant flip chart ready, because as always happens, you'll get to know as soon as we end up having a Q&A, I have to teach. And it always involves me drawing some weird, random, crazy kind of pictures, which I hope actually convey some of the concepts and principles that are really important to help you understand how to change your life. And I know that there's 2 or 3 in the back of my mind from some of the questions we've had tonight, or had already in tonight, that I know that will end up going up on the flip chart. So I'm sure they'll be worth some money or something at some point, but right now they look like my little boys drew them, but they're fun to say the least. Anyway, so whilst you are posting your questions, I'm going to come over to the Facebook page and come and have a super quick look in a minute. I'm going to have a super quick drink. Everything's super quick. I might need to do some EAM on that. Anyway, those of you over on Insta, hi, nice to see you. Come and join us on Facebook as well. Let me just come over and find the page. Who do we have? I can see Rebecca Wells is on with us. Just trying to find the live. Let me come and see you. Come and see you, come and see you, come and see you. Over on the Facebook page, where are you? Where are you? Can't even find the stream now. I know that we're live. I know that we're... There we go. I can see there's loads of you online with us. Here we go. We are live. So let us know if you're newbie, if you've been around, and I mean that in the nicest possible way, or if you're already one of us, if you're already part of the community. There we go. I can see you now. Hi. There we go. Got you. Newbie. And some amazing questions. Please do pop them in. I've got our lovely Claire who's supporting me tonight as well. So she's going to keep posting the questions to me as they come in. I can see one there from Hayley. I will copy that over actually and come to that question in a minute. I'm going to pop that in here from Hayley. And yeah, post your training to be a mentor, says Gail. I know you are, my love, because you joined us last week. Where are we? Just trying to get all of my comments up so that I can see you. So let me know underneath. Claire's going to post all of all the questions for me over on the Q&A doc, and we already have some things that I know people have posted in earlier. So tonight we are absolutely here to serve you. So please throw your questions in. What are the biggest questions that you have if you're new to EAM? What do you find the hardest? Or maybe you find the easiest? What are some of the things that you love or you've got big questions about? Maybe it's having difficulty with your sway. I know this is a big question that comes up for people at the very beginning. How do I get my sway to work for me? What is my sway really? How do I know that I'm not making it do things? What do I do when my sway is going around in circles? My sway isn't working for me at all. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about with the sway, then that's a really good question for me to answer. Literally just whatever it is that's coming up. And also what challenges you've got in your life at the minute that we can potentially just, spend some time working on, see what we can do. And we will, of course, finish our session today with a big, beautiful step 5 for us doing the work together. So let me just see. And like I said, there's a little 30-second delay between me asking you questions and you posting your comments. So I will give you a minute whilst I drink some tea. Nicola says, love hanging out with you still. Every time is a learning curve. Bless you. What is a sway, says Danielle. What is my sway, says Martine. Perfect. Are you recording it? Yes, Georgina, we are recording it. There we go. What is a sway? Just gonna find your comments. That would be a really, really good place for me to begin. So let's first up just get everybody on the same page. So EAM, the energy alignment method, if you're completely new to this, is a really, really, really simple yet powerful 5-step self-help tool to help you shift any stuck energy, thoughts, beliefs, emotions, challenges, situations that you see going on in your life, things that you would like to change. And the foundational concept or principle that's behind it is that all of your energy, everything in your life, is in one of 3 energy states. And if you've seen any of our other videos, you probably will have heard me talk about it. So before I explain your sway, let me first of all explain the 3 flows of energy, because once you know these, you'll recognize them in lots of other areas of your life, and you'll know that you need to put the 5 steps of EAM into practice, because it means that there's something for you to change. So I told you the flip chart would come out. So you can, if you've got a piece of paper in front of you, please draw this and write this down for me. So I want you to draw 3 arrows. So one arrow pointing that way, one arrow in the middle with 2 arrowheads on either end, and another arrow pointing that way towards the end. And you guys on Insta might not be able to see all of that. So this first arrow over here, we call this the reversed energy state. The reversed energy state looks like situations in your life where you find yourself repeating the same things over and over again. It's like literally living Groundhog Day. Whatever you do, the more energy you put into something, the worse it seems to get. Or a situation or scenario occurs in your life and you're looking at it and you think, oh my God, I swear I was here like 2 or 3 years ago. It might be different people playing the same role, but you're reenacting the same situation, or you feel like you can literally just never shift it. It often happens in relationships, like you might leave a relationship, start a new relationship, and then you've got exactly the same person. They've just got a different name, or, you know, an ongoing situation that just never seems to quite shift for you, that you might have been battling with for years. Often we call that an energy reversal. It's literally like a stuck state. So I'm sure most of you can resonate with this. We've all got some kind of reversals going on somewhere in our life. So the way I want you to think about an energy reversal is all of the energy about that situation is pulling in the opposite direction to the direction you want to go, which is this one. Then in the middle, you have this one called the resistant state. And the resistant state is like this push-pull. There's some drive, there's some movement or motivation for you to move towards where you want to go. And yet there was always this other thing inside you that's holding you back. Usually a thought, usually a belief, usually an emotion. And it's those little nagging voices, you know, it's that thing that says that you're not quite good enough, or you shouldn't really do it, or it's just that doubt. It's that thing that just, as you take that step, it's like, you shouldn't really do that. Oh, it's going to turn out bad. Oh, you're not good enough to do that. It's that critical voice often in the background. So the resistant energy state is where often people feel stuck. Like they're kind of moving forward, but they're not really moving backwards. They're just kind of staying in this forward, backward place. Again, this can apply to everything. Relationships, money, wealth, happiness, health, any single thing in your life applies in exactly this state. And then we have this one over here, which you can't all see. This one here, which is the one that we all want to get to. The receptive state. So this one, reversed, resistant, and receptive. Now the receptive state is the one that everybody is searching for. Every single thing that we do as human beings is because we are searching to get back to this state. Now, the receptive state is called many things. It's called the state of flow. It's called alignment. It's called high frequency vibration. It's called love. It's called freedom. It's called joy. It's called happiness. It's called abundance. It's called empowerment. It's basically that sometimes elusive state where everything feels amazing, everything feels good, and everything is working out for you. So obviously, the foundation of EAM is about moving us all over back into this receptive state. Now, the challenge that most people have, if you're familiar with like the law of attraction, personal development, if you've been around and been using affirmations and trying to use positive thinking before, most things that you might have learned or most things that you've tried before teach you this bit, the receptive state. You know, use positive affirmations and everything will be all right. Or, just write in your journal and everything will be okay. Or just say all these positive things 9 million times a day and everything's going to shift for you. But the truth is, whilst these things are powerful and they absolutely do work, whilst you have something in your energy that is contradicting the positive affirmation that you're saying or the positive thoughts that you're having, it's kind of like sprinkling glitter on a, fill in the blank with whatever you want to put in there, but it's like sprinkling glitter on something that's not quite so nice. Yes, the wonderful glitter is great and it can make things look much better, but underneath it is still this reversed or resistant energy. So what we do with EAM and what makes this probably very different to things that you've looked at before is that you have to do the work, and it's really quick. You can say it in seconds. You have to release whatever is in your energy that's contradicting it, which will be the reversed or the resistant state, before you do the affirmations. So the way that that looks in the 5 steps of EAM itself is step 4 of the process helps us release this resistance or reversal. And step 5 of the process is where we put ourselves back into that receptive state, where we can manifest, where we ask for what we want, where we call in what we want, whether it's a thought, a belief, an emotion, a pattern, whatever it might be. So the whole of EAM is designed to shift you from reversed or resistant, where everything's holding you back, whether it's a doubt, a thought, a belief, an emotion, something hidden, something in your subconscious, something that you've got no clue about. And this is where the sway comes in. So I'm leading back to where we started. This is what you need to discover and do the work on before using affirmations. And this is usually the reason why most people have been stuck or challenged before, because they're just over here doing the pretty glitter, but haven't dealt with what's going on underneath. Now, the reason that most people haven't dealt with what's going on underneath is because we're often trying to use what we are aware of consciously to create the change. So, for example, we might feel like we're disconnected from other people, or we might feel lost, or we might feel abandoned, and we might have a memory of, I don't know, our parents leaving us at the school gate. And we think that all of our childhood issues come from this one situational scenario. And so when we try to use our conscious understanding of what we know, and we use some release or self-help methodology to do the work on it, it's great and it works. However, if that situation that you're consciously aware of isn't actually the reason why you feel low or feel depressed or feel disconnected, you're literally working on the wrong thing. So the sway, which is what some of you were saying, is what is the sway? The sway is part of the technique which allows us to actually get really clear on what's holding you back. Now, this is a really key part of the process, because what's holding you back in your life is completely different to the person that stood next to you and next to you and next to you and next to you. You might all have the same thing. You might all feel disconnected. You might all feel depressed or lonely or sad or anxious. Everyone might have exactly the same thing as a manifestation, but the reason why for them will be completely different. So the sway is what we use at the beginning of the 5 steps. Steps 1 and 2, and sometimes a little bit of step 3, help us to actually access your subconscious. Now, this is really, really, really powerful, because if we can actually ask your subconscious a question to figure out if that situation in the playground was actually the thing holding you back, or if it was something else, we can get clarity on what's standing in the way for you. I don't have the answer of what's standing in the way for you. You have the answer of what's standing in the way for you. And so by using the 5 steps of EAM, and as you learn more about it and understand how it works and how to ask the right questions, all of a sudden this whole wealth of information that you never had a clue about, you've suddenly got access to, and it's like opening a secret cupboard or a doorway or a book and discovering the answers for you. And that is such an important piece of the puzzle, So the sway is actually a technique from applied kinesiology. And what we're doing is asking our body or asking our subconscious a question, and our body is going to give us a response. Now, the response is actually called an idiomotor response, which means a neuromuscular response to what you're thinking. Think of it like a poker tell. You know, like someone's playing a game and they think that they're like psyching someone out, and they haven't got, and actually they've got a tell like a little scratch, or their eyeball's going to twitch, or our idiomotor responses are working all of the time, and it's tied into your parasympathetic nervous system. So what we're doing here is using our own body system to access information that may be holding us back, find out what's standing in the way for us, so that when we do, then do step 4 to release the issue, and then step 5 to reprogram our brain, our energy, our aura. Then you actually know that you're doing the work on the thing that actually matters for you. So I'm hoping that makes sense. So the sway, for those of you who are completely new, I'm going to invite you to stand up and do this with me quickly. The sway is, just whilst you are doing that, the sway is actually really, really simple for you to do. So I'm going to get you to just stand, if you can, with your feet hips width apart. And we're going to practice the sway quickly for those of you who are new to this, because I want you to feel this for yourself. And actually, even if you're not new to this, can I get you on your feet, please? Because we're going to do this together. So first of all, I want you to just close your eyes, make sure that your feet are hips width apart. And we're just going to practice asking a few questions together. So just stand with your feet hips width apart. Make sure that the back of your knees are loose, not that they're locked tight. Make sure the back of your knees are loose. Make sure that your hips are loose. Give them a little this if you want to. Make sure your hands are down by your side. And then I just want you to close your eyes so that you become present with yourself and what you're feeling. Now, when you first start using EAM, sometimes your sway is imperceptible, and I'll explain why that is in a minute. But sometimes your sway isn't very clear, and it might just feel like a very, very gentle movement. So let's start with something really simple. Just say out loud, "My name is," and then say your name. Obviously, I would say that, whatever your name is. So "My name is," and then use your name. And you might notice that your body's going to give you a gentle pull forwards. Now, it might be really large, might be a big sway. It might also be something really gentle. I'm just going to give you a moment to see what that feels like. I've got a little person. Thank you. Okie dokie. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. I've just been handed a list of questions. So, stand with your feet hips width apart and close your eyes. And then I just want you to notice what's happening. Did you get a pull forwards on your name? Did you get a pull backwards on your name? If you get a pull backwards on your name, that's possibly an energy reversal coming up for you. We're going to have fun. Insta, you keep disappearing on me. We'll sort that out in a moment. So stand with your feet hips width apart, and then try it on something like your age. So say I am however old you are, 21 obviously, or my date of birth is whatever that might be, and then just try that for yourself. And just whilst you are doing that, I'm going to try and fix Instagram because you keep disappearing on me, peoples. Let's see if we can get that. Don't worry, I've got you back. I think they got you back. Hopefully you're back. So hopefully you're noticing a pull forwards or a pull back. It might be really, really, really gentle, just it feels like some water pulling towards or backwards on the inside. So that's all that we're looking for, is this gentle movement. Now try it on something that isn't your name. So say my name is George or Tallulah or, Freddie Flamingo, or whatever it is, whatever you think your other name might be. And then try it on an age that's not your age and a date of birth that's not your date of birth. And then just notice what's happening in your energy. So I'm just going to see if any of you got this. Let me know on the chat. Let me know on the comments on the live stream. Move slightly backwards and forwards. Is that normal? Yes. So knees relaxed. Got to pull forward, says Mary. Make sure that your knees are slightly bent. Not bent, but just that they're a bit loose. So steps 1 and 2. Steps 1 and 2 are where we're using the sway to help make sure that you are in alignment. So step 1 is where you ask the question. Step 2 is where your body's going to respond. Okay, so we've got everyone on the same page around the sway. Now, the reason that I'm explaining all of that, and then the reason why sometimes your sway may not be working for you, is because when we first begin, if you were to imagine, we're going to do another tiny side teach, and then I'm going to come to your questions, because this will probably answer quite a few of them. When you first start, first of all, give you a little side teach about your energy system. So you are this beautiful, I told you my drawings were magnificent, didn't I? You are this gorgeous, amazing, powerful being, and there is much more to you than you see physically. So around you, you have this powerful electromagnetic energy field, which is frequently referred to as your aura. And it has been scientifically measured up to 20 feet away from you. We know that it expands further beyond that, but scientifically it can be measured up to 20 feet away from you. Now, everything that's ever happened to you in your life is recorded somewhere in your aura. This is a very, very, very technical drawing, as you can see. So every thought, belief, emotion, pattern, experience, memory, everything is recorded somewhere in your energy field. So what we're actually doing with the sway is tuning into your energy and asking do I have one of these little dots that is a feeling of fear? And your sway is going to say, yes, you do. And then you'll say, oh, do I have one of these little dots that's perhaps a feeling of depression over here? And your sway is going to say, yes, actually you do. So when we first start using EAM, very often our sway isn't as clear as it can be, and it's usually because of one of two things. Imagine this beautiful ball is actually full, literally full of all of those resistances and all of those reversals, all of those things that were standing in your way or holding you back. Or the other thing that can happen is that your aura isn't out here 20 feet away from you. It's actually almost collapsed in or very close to you. So when our aura is really collapsed in, when our energy is low, it's kind of a catch-22, but the two things are correlated, or they are the same thing. When you feel low frequency, or when you feel low, when you feel fear, when you feel down, when you feel disconnected, when you feel powerless, when you feel depressed, it is because your energy field has shrunk in on itself. And at the same time, when we see things that make us feel low or down or depressed or pissed off wound up, I can say pissed off. We can say pissed off, because let's face it, 2020 has pissed a few of us off. I think it's safe to say. So sorry if that's offended anybody, but swear words pop out occasionally. So when we are in this space, our energy also contracts in and shrinks. So it's like one thing perpetuates the other, and this is how we end up just getting stuck in a particular vibrational space. So when our sway isn't working at the beginning, it's usually because our energy's low or something's going on that's stopping us from being as open and expanded. So just start, when you begin, using step 4 and step 5 to work on releasing the fact that your sway is not working. So you can simply say, I'm ready to release all of these reasons that my sway isn't working, even if you don't know exactly what they are, because it's step 4 that will release all of these resistances and all of these reversals that are standing in your way. So you can simply start with step 4 and step 5 until you start to get some answers or feedback from your sway to begin with. So I'm hoping that that has answered the what is happening with my sway or why is my sway not working question, because that was one of the biggest ones that came up when we were asking everybody if they wanted to do the Q&A tonight. So swaying, Trudy says, swaying forward almost fell over. Please don't do that. Please make sure that there is a mattress or some kind of protector around you when you're doing this, because it really, 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 really can. You can get some pretty energetic sways going on. So that was a little side teach about your sway and your aura and what we're doing. So I'm hoping that's given all of you a bigger picture. I've got some questions over here on this over here now. So thank you, says Nissa. Thank you. That helps. Perfect. Right. What have we got going on down here? Thank you for these questions. Have we answered those? You've got some amazing questions. Okay. How do I use EAM? So Hayley says, how do I use EAM to heal abandonment and looking to others to provide love? It ends up with me attracting emotionally unavailable people. Oh, big question. Okay, Hayley. Hopefully what we've just had a conversation about with your aura will give you a place to begin. So you said it yourself, I keep on attracting emotionally unavailable people. Now, obviously, I don't know what your journey has been like or what has happened for you in the past, but I do know that everything that happens in our lives is usually down to something that we've already experienced in some way. So when things keep on being attracted, if you remember, or if you were on when we were talking about this at the beginning, those energy reversals are created at a time in our life when we're faced with a situation or scenario that we don't have a coping mechanism for. So, rewind. The way to think about energy reversals is, imagine you're in a situation and something that you don't know how to deal with happens to you. And so your energy system goes, oh, like, I literally have no idea how to deal with this. And it takes such a sharp in-breath and it goes into shock. And so what happens in order to protect you, imagine a little part of you breaks off, a little bit like a Russian doll. So there's this version of you who's now 5 years old. You've just been shouted at by the teacher for the first time ever. You have absolutely no idea how to deal with it because you've always been such a good little angel. And all of a sudden it's like, bang, an energy reversal's created. It doesn't have to have been something significant. It doesn't have to have been something traumatic. But when there has been a traumatic or significant incident, you can almost guarantee that at least one energy reversal has been created. So what then happens from an energy perspective, when you have an energy reversal, it's like this part of you that's broken off at the age of 5 has held on to all of those decisions, all of those thoughts, all of those beliefs, all of the things that little 5-year-old decided about themselves. And then every time they're faced with another situation like that, it's like this little 5-year-old steps into the ring and takes over control. Now, I'm almost certain every single one of us has had a moment when you're like, who the hell is running the show? Why have I, a grown adult, suddenly started acting like a 2-year-old or a 5-year-old or an 8-year-old? Why do I look like I'm throwing my toys out the pram? Where, of course, maybe it's not you. You've sorted all of this stuff out, and maybe it's only other people around you. But we've all had those situations in our lives where we're like, I know that I should be dealing with this in a much better way than I am. And yet things seem to be holding you back or stepping in the way. Does this make sense? So an energy reversal is created when we're faced with a situation we haven't experienced before. So in order to answer your question, Hayley, around where to start with healing abandonment wounds and looking for others to provide love, where in your life, and this is what you would then use the sway for, where in your life did you first find that happen to you? Where did it come from? When did it begin? And these are questions you would then ask your sway, like, how old was I? Was I younger than 10? Was I younger than 5? Was I 6? Was I 7? Was I 9? I was 9 years old. Okay. And you might know something that happened at that point, or you might not have a clue what was going on. And this is where further along on some of the other, courses further along, we teach you some of the questions you can start to use to explore where this situation or scenario began. So once you know the answer to that, you can then use step 4 to release it, and step 5 to create a new pattern, a new thought or belief. And that's when you can start to then see, as this progresses, changes in your relationships, because you've changed the story or pattern of abandonment here that's been held in your energy since whenever. So the place to begin is always, and this applies to everything, relationships, money, physical health, any health conditions you've got going on, anything that's happened to you from your past, anything you're seeing happening in your life right now, what's happening with your money, what's happening with your career, what's happening with your future, what's happening with how you're feeling. There will be something in your energy field that is helping to create or is playing out this story based on something from your past. Now, I know that's a bit of a big concept to take on board, but if you trust us, literally seen this thousands and thousands and thousands of times with all of the people that we've worked with. And that's the power of EAM, is that you can actually use the 5 steps to explore what it is for you. I don't know what those things were that happened for you. You might have a conscious idea of some things, but you need to discover where it began and what it was and how it played out for you. And that simply comes down to learning a few more of the questions to ask to get clarity before you then start putting it into practice with step 4 and step 5 with the release and transforming. So I'm hoping that's answered your question, Hayley. I'll come and find out on the Facebook page in a minute. So next question. Amazing. Sam says, I'd like to know if I can do healing for someone that can't do it for themselves, for a non-verbal autistic boy. What a beautiful and wonderful, wonderful question. And the answer is yes. And there is a part 2 to this. Hold on. I absolutely love sharing EAM with everybody, and particularly the people that we do end up attracting in to these communities. First of all, we want to do work on ourselves, and secondly, they want to create change for so many other people around us, like our friends, our family, loved ones, people that we care about. So yes, you can use EAM to work on somebody else's behalf, and the first part of doing that is first doing the work on yourself. Now, the reason that I say all of this is because whatever it is that you've got going on in your energy, now I don't know who this boy is in relation to you or what your relationship is with them, but whether it's this little boy or whether it's our partner, whether it's our children, whether it's our brothers, our sisters, our mums, our work colleagues, we often see things in other people that we just wish we could flick a button or flick a switch and change. And the number one piece of the puzzle to change first is our energy, our thoughts, our beliefs, our perception, our pain, our frustration about what we see in them or for them, or whatever it is that we think that we'd like to change or transform. So part one of actually helping somebody else is, first of all, to create that change within ourselves. Now, there are two reasons for that. One, whatever fear, pain, anger, frustration, need or desire you have to create that change for them comes from a place of seeing them, usually in a place of being disempowered or not enough, not good enough, not able to talk enough, not able to share enough, not able to do something for themselves. And whilst we see that in somebody else, whilst we project those thoughts, beliefs and emotions, we're actually adding to the very thing that we want to change. This is a really, really big concept for anyone who's completely new to this, but I'm just sharing the truth around where to begin with doing this. So whether it's doing this for this little boy, or whether it's doing it for a partner, or whether it's doing for a friend or a family member that we just wish they could be a bit happier and stop being so negative, or we wish they could just change that one thing about them and then life would be better. We have to do the work on shifting what we see or feel or think inside us first. Then, once you've done that, absolutely you can then start to do the work. It's more than I can teach you on the call tonight, but it is something that we do teach people how to do once you've been doing the work for yourself, because it's also other people's spiritual journey, or it's their path and their journey through life. And it's not necessarily for us to interfere or intervene. So there are some other things that we teach you to know or to do or understand to make sure that it is actually right for them and for you before you use EAM, to make sure that you actually get spiritual permission, I suppose, that it's okay to act on their behalf. So yes, absolutely, Sam. The answer is yes. And I'm hoping that gave you a little bit more insight. But yes, you can teach this to children. My little 5-year-olds do this. So many of our mentors teach this to their family, to the teenagers. You can do this with and for anybody. Just wondering what else is coming up on the questions. Hold on, lost you. Vicky says, can I clear my daughter's anxiety for her, which she's inherited from her father? I hope, Vicky, that actually what I just shared for Sam potentially answered that for you as well. Depending on how old your child is, you can absolutely teach this to them. It is so easy to do with the kids because they're so in tune with how they're feeling. So you don't need to get them necessarily swaying. You can simply ask them, what does it feel like? You know, that anxious feeling that you get sometimes, show me where it is, and just get them to do it like it's magic. What size is it? Is it like a big red ball in your tummy? Or what does it feel like? And they'll often say to you, I've got this big red ball in my tummy, or, oh my God, this just feels like a big heavy rock in my side. They're so in tune with how they feel. So get her to describe what the anxiety feels like for her. What does it do to her? You know, is it in her heart? Is it in her chest? Is it on her back? Get her to just describe it as an object, and then shall we do some magic, or shall we say some magic words, and just lead her through them. Get her to say the words along with you and see exactly how she can learn to shift these feelings for herself. You would be amazed how quickly kids learn to do this, because they feel the shifts just like that. They'll then start putting it into practice in lots of other places as well. So I don't know how old she is. Vicky, but definitely if she's old enough to have picked up anxiety, she's old enough to have this conversation with and do some magic. And then you can do step 5. and get her to feel open and excited and grounded and empowered so that she can speak, and get her to do the work around that. Now, everything that I was talking about with her aura, her previous life experiences, I don't know where this anxiety has come from, or other situations or scenarios she might have been in or might have seen, or might just be unable to have coped with for herself. All of these same things apply. And the beautiful thing about doing this with our kids when they're younger is that they don't have to spend all of the time that many of us have spent undoing this when they become older. It is such a powerful tool. We've got a massive, massive mission to take EAM into schools. Karen Shaw, who's one of our EAM mentors, specialises in putting EAM into practice with parents and how to use this with conscious parenting, how to teach it to your children, how to speak to your children, how to empower your children. And it's a huge, huge, huge part of the vision for us to get this out there as well. Okay, you guys are posting some really, really amazing questions and really heartfelt, really deep questions here as well. So I'm hoping I can get through them as for you. So can I clear my daughter's anxiety? So if you're disabled and can't stand for your sway, what can you do? Says Mary. Really, really brilliant question. So you can sway from anywhere on your body that has a pivot. So if you can't stand, if you can sit towards the edge of a chair and use your hips as the pivot, your body will sway just using your torso. If we've had people who are paraplegic and can literally only move their head, you can use your head to give you a yes or a no as well. So you can sway from just your head, you can sway from just your hips, or if you can stand and sway from there as well. So just takes a little bit more practice. You can actually sway laying down. And once you become a little bit more familiar with the feeling inside, it literally just feels, I always describe it as like water pushing against the inside of your chest or pushing against the back of your rib cage. So pay attention simply to that feeling. Sometimes it's in your chest. Sometimes you'll notice it just below your belly button or just behind your belly button as well. So give that a go and let us know how that goes, Mary. Lisa says she's got a sensitive question about letting go of grief, guilt, etc. from when she turned 17 and she's now 52. But I don't feel I can post it on here as it's hard for people to understand. Everything that I talked about, Lisa, with these past experiences, with whatever it was that happened to you at the age of 17, think about, imagine this is the incident. So I'm going to just do another little teach here as well. So what I didn't explain earlier is that we have different layers to our aura. You might not be able to see my writing very clearly, but out here I've written emotions, this one, and this one is thoughts and beliefs, so all of the mental things that have happened. When we have a particular life experience, say for example, what happened to you at the age of 17, so many different things can happen and it creates like this imprint in our energy field or in our energy system. So earlier we were talking about this here. So let's call this incident at the age of 17. And this incident has also created an impact here on our emotions, which you've described as grief. We've also created a set of beliefs about ourselves, about life, about loss, about what we do or what we don't deserve, about what we can or what we can't experience. And every time, and this applies to every single situation, every time you're then faced with another situation or scenario that's familiar, or sometimes it's just literally like a feeling that's with us all of the time, whilst that is still in your energy, it will continue to play out, or you'll continue to feel it, or it will show up every now and then. You might go through days or weeks of feeling absolutely fine, and then all of a sudden it's like, bang, that same old feeling is back again. And so what we're doing with EAM is working on releasing this very technical big blue blob. And this big blue blob represents incident that happened at the age of 17. So when we actually get to do the 5 steps of EAM, I'm ready to release this from my energy, talking about your energy field, in all forms, meaning all of the different ways that it can show up or have affected your energy, on all levels, meaning all the different layers of your energy field, and right into a physical level, into a cellular level, into a DNA level, on all levels, at all points in time, from the past, from the present, and the future. So the wording that we actually use around your step 4 statement allows us to create these shifts wherever or however these situations have actually shown up for you. So the how do I deal with letting go of grief? In exactly the same way that we work on everything else. That's the beauty of the step 5s, or the 5 steps, of EAM. Once you know the 5 steps and you're familiar with how to put them together, what kind of questions to use, to explore, get used to using your sway, you can then put the 5 steps to use on anything that you think or feel or experience or you think is holding you back. So that would be my advice to you. Figure out, or come on the next steps in the journey, discover more about actually using the tool. And of course, feel free to privately message us on the Facebook Messenger and one of the team. If there's something specific that you don't want to ask publicly, you can always ask there and we can point you in the right direction as well. I swear everyone's probably just opened up a massive can of worms. Thousands of people like, how do I do this and how do I do that? But we are here. This is the reason we're doing Fear to Love Live, is we want to empower as many people as possible to be able to use this and put this into practice. So, okay, so Lee says, I started the course about 2 weeks ago, but I got disheartened when I didn't trust my sway and I asked some funny questions like, is my name Lee? And it swayed no. Beautiful, beautiful question, Lee. So back to these lovely energy reversals. And again, this is one of those, these are some of the things that it's just, sometimes we need to be there with you to help figure it out. If you get a no on something like your name or your date of birth, that's usually a very clear sign that you have an energy reversal going on. And sometimes, we all have energy reversals on many, many different things. The reason that you might get a no on something like your name is that sometimes we have created a situation in our life that's literally put us into a constantly reversed energy state. And some of you might be thinking, oh my God, okay, where do I begin with that? Sometimes this is like that makes so much sense why everything you try to do in life ends up being a bit of a challenge. It can be down to many, many different things why you get a no on your name. It could be that your name that you're using as a nickname, you don't like your name, you don't like the person that gave you your name. There can be some identity stuff around, not liking or being in a situation where you didn't feel empowered to be you. This is where it's like, we need to actually give you some more guidance on the type of questions to ask. But if you're getting a no on something as simple as your name or your date of birth on things that you know should be a yes, that's a very, very clear sign that you've got an energy reversal. So the first thing to do is then explore the energy reversal. And I know that can be difficult because your sway's not working. So there are another set of questions that we would, or give you some guidance around on how to put that into practice so that you can actually undo the energy reversal that's stopping you from being able to use the 5 steps for yourself. So, hoping that's answered your question, Lee. Okay. Difficult to know what question to ask. Yeah, Wendy says it's difficult to know the right question to ask to find the reason for a particular issue. So, like I said, there are a whole kind of series of things to explore when you're working with your sway. So, 3 simple ones, I'm not going to give you loads to think about, is when did this begin? As in, how old was I? So you can use your sway to identify the age that you were. Was it a thought? Was it a belief? Was it an emotion that's standing in my way? So there's some simple things that you can start to explore. So, for example, you might think, oh, I feel really fearful. When did this fear begin? Was I younger than 10? Was it younger than 5? And it's giving you a yes and yes. Was it younger than 4? No. So was I 5 years old? Yes. Okay. Was it a thought? Yes. Okay. So 5-year-old, there was a thought that created the fear. You don't need to go and explore any more than that usually. You can just simply start from there. And step 4, you would say, I'm ready to release this feeling of fear created at the age of 5. I release this from my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. So these are, because, and like I said at the very, very beginning, if you were here, this is part of the challenge with using EAM, is because you can explore it in any way. The first thing to actually think about isn't how do I use it for this thing? It's actually learning and putting it into practice in your life every day. Get used to using the 5 steps. Then you'll start to understand some of the questions to explore. So the first thing is actually learn the process so that you're then confident to start asking questions. And there's other things to learn around all of that. Okay. Can children use EAM, or can we do it for them remotely? Stacey, I think we've answered that question. Sarah says, I have very little memory from my childhood, just odd events. So I think EAM is the only way forward. Had loads of counselling and psychotherapy, and they just wanted to drag back memories, which I couldn't and really didn't want to do either. Sarah, you have just described beautifully one of the things I love the most about EAM. I also think that there are so many different amazing energy practices out there. Counselling, psychotherapy, all are brilliant and have their place. And I also know so many counsellors, psychotherapists, practitioners that once they've discovered EAM or actually starting to put this into practice, or clients who've had counselling and things like that, what they do love about this is that you don't have to dig up memories. And in fact, we aim to not dig up memories because the reason that they're kind of kept from you in a safe space is for a reason. Your subconscious has kept them away from you because it didn't want to look at them, and you don't have to look at them again in order for them to be released. That's the beauty of this. So by using the sway, we can ask your subconscious, which is basically all of the information held here in your energy field, what was going on for you. And all you need to know is something happened when you were 7 years old, it was connected to this, and that's usually enough. And then we go through step 4 and step 5. I'm ready to release the situation at the age of 4, connected to blah. I release it from my energy in all forms, on all levels, and at all points in time. So it's a beautiful thing, and particularly when we've either got stuff that we feel is really private, you don't want to go and drag up the past again, because actually just talking about it is like, very often people describe it as, just like vomiting it all up on your lap. and then you're carrying it around with you. I know that's not a very pretty visual, but you need to know how to use the process. And actually, it doesn't have to be painless. In fact, it's often completely painless in using this process, because you're not having to go in and reconnect the emotions or relive it in order to let it go. We are working with your subconscious. Your subconscious knows what it is that we need to do the work on, and you can release it without emotion. That's not to say that people don't burst into tears, or that, you know, sometimes we tap into things that people might have forgotten, but it's gone, usually within like a minute of identifying it, or a couple of minutes. And so there are loads of different ways that you can put this into practice. But thank you for sharing that, Sarah, because it is one of the most powerful parts of EAM, and I love that about it. Hold on one second. I've just lost my screen. Here we go. Nadine, hello gorgeous, says, I've been coaching for years, but I want some clarity around the exact type of coaching that's best for me and my clients. I want laser focused. Can EAM assist me in getting clarity? What an amazing question, Nadine. Thank you for that. Yes, is the answer. So clarity, let's come back to, I'm going to give you a different perspective on clarity. What actually stops us from being clear on our future, on where we're going, on a particular situation, on a decision that we need to make, is usually because, back to our lovely technical drawing, we have some thoughts or beliefs or emotions around that particular subject that might be in that reversed or resistant state. We might have fearful thoughts about something. We might have doubts about something we want to do. And if our energy is clouded with all of those things, it stops us from actually getting clarity. So what I want you to think about with EAM is we are literally spring cleaning your aura, you're spring cleaning your energy system. Every single time you put it into practice, you're cleaning this up, you're clearing this out. And what that means is that by default, as your energy clears and it begins to expand, as you release all of this stuff, your aura begins to open up. And as your aura begins to open up, more information comes in. You get access to more ideas, more inspired divine actions, more things for you to do, or more insight as to what to do next. And so think about it as spring cleaning. That's the job to do. If you're unclear, you need to get clarity. To get clarity, you need to clear up whatever is standing in the way of you getting that clarity. So you would use EAM to, I'm ready to release the confusion, the chaos, the overwhelm that's stopping me from being really clear about whatever it is you want to work on. I release this from my energy in all forms and all levels at all points in time. And then step 5 brings in that receptive, inflow, clearly aligned, open, in tune state where you receive access to all of this additional information. Or where your brain, literally, if we take it into what's happening in the physical, when we're in the flow state, our brain literally functions. Some of you might have seen the video that I did the other day about the science behind EAM. This isn't just a spiritual, manifesting technique. This is absolutely grounded in neuroscientific research and quantum physics and the way that our brain works. When we are in stress, when we are in overwhelm, when we are in fear, when we are in anxiety, and getting our words out, when we're in that space, our brain literally stops functioning at its highest performance levels. So when we're in stress, when our body is releasing cortisol and adrenaline, it literally stops our brain from working. I think it's like 50% of our brain's function disappears when we're in the stress state. So if you're trying to make major decisions about your life or where you're going or what you're doing or what you're going to do next, from a place of misalignment, when you're stressed out, you're never going to make the right decision for you, or the right decision for your highest good, because that decision will usually have come from a place of fear or stress or overwhelm. So the first job is to release the fear, the stress or the overwhelm, which will then bring you clarity. And when you're in the place of clarity, the right divinely guided answer, action, next step, insight, intuition, download, whatever you want to call it, will come to you, and then you take your action from there. We call it aligned action. So yes, EAM, you can absolutely use it to help you get laser focused on what is the most in flow or aligned thing for you to be doing next. So hoping that's answered your question, Nadine. Right, I'm going to have a super quick glass of water. Please let me know. So I feel like I have been just talking at you for the last hour. Is this actually helpful? Those of you that are still tuned in and with us tonight, is this helpful? Is this useful? Is there anything else that you want to know? Thank you. Thanks, Nadine. Okay. I'm hoping this is actually some use to everyone that's tuning in and those of you that are catching up live later. Sue says, I have a question. I feel like I've had a big block for a long time, stopping me from being able to learn. Can EAM help me with this? I think we might have just answered that by default with Nadine's question. This is the beauty of Q&As. I love this. Someone else's question often answers the very same thing that you've asked in a slightly different way. So yes, Sue, in answer to your big question or stopping you from learning, there will be something going on in your energy, some situation, story, scenario or experience around not being able to learn or not being clear, or your energy field might be full of other stuff. And as you start putting this into practice every day and using it more and more for yourself, you'll start to gain clarity. You can actually start to change your beliefs. So we haven't even got round to talking about this tonight, but the beauty of EAM, it's not just about this, releasing and letting go. It's absolutely about step 5, which we were talking about here. And step 5 is where we get to reprogram. So instead of saying, I have challenges with learning, or I can't learn, or I get stuck when learning new things, you would then release all of those beliefs of I can't learn, etc. with step 4. And with step 5, we create a new experience. I am so open to learning. I love learning new things. I love how easily I learn all of this amazing things that are going to help me with whatever. You literally reprogram your brain, your energy field, in the same way that all of these things that we've been talking about that were standing in your way got there through conversations and experiences. Step 5, step 4 releases them. Step 5, we reprogram your energy. So step 5, you get to put new thoughts, new beliefs, new patterns, new emotions, new experiences into your energy field that will serve and support you instead. So yes, Sue, absolutely, you can use it for that too. When you release, where does this energy go, says Sandra. I love that, thank you. So energy doesn't go anywhere. Energy can only be transformed, and that's exactly what we're doing here with these 3 flows of energy. Think about it as quality of the energy rather than, think about it as the quality of the energy. So it's the same energy, whether it's here, here, or here, it's just behaving differently. So what happens when we release an energy reversal, the energy that has been over here, and often, I'm going to just give you this as a visual. Think for a moment about that biggest challenge in your life that you have been working against, trying to shift, trying to change, trying to let go of, trying to release. The more energy you put into it, think of all the energy that you've pushed into that, and imagine that you've built it up and it's like the size of a house, and yet it's still, despite all of your efforts, still not changed for you. Now, imagine all of that energy, the size of a house, like a tidal wave that's been pushing in the opposite direction of the thing that you've been asking for. Imagine you've now undone it and stopped it from moving in the opposite direction. You've redirected that energy and you've moved it into the receptive state. So now that tidal wave, instead of going that way, has now turned and is moving and working with you and moving in the direction of everything you've asked for. This is the bit that excites the pants off of me. There are loads of bits that excite the pants off of me, but I actually love finding energy reversals because, and particularly the really big ones, like the long-standing ones that you know have been holding you back for so long. And this is, for me and Lisa, who I keep talking about. I promise Lisa is not my imaginary friend, but Lisa is the co-founder of EAM, and you will see her, you will meet her very soon. But this is the reason why we keep on sharing EAM, is because seeing the shifts that happen for people on the other side of discovering this is just mind-blowing. Watching these things turn into the flow state and getting them to work for you. Imagine that tidal wave of energy working with you instead of against you. So even though we've said I'm ready to release it, think I'm releasing it from this state. And what we then do, and this is why we do step 5 of EAM, you then redirect that energy. So instead of just letting it go and leaving it kind of floating around like, oh, what do I do with myself now? I've been doing this all this time and I don't know what to do. You're like, hello, energy over here. This is what you need to be doing. Now you put it to work in a direction that you want it to be. I told you that sometimes my explanations are a little bit way out there. They make perfect sense to me. So I'm hoping that has answered your question, Sandra. It doesn't go anywhere. You redirect it. Step 4, release it from where it was. Step 5, redirect it and change it. Energy can only be transformed. It cannot be destroyed. So put it to use with something you want it to be doing. Okay, Sarah, thank you for this. Sarah says, I think I overanalyze my sway. I check my hips, I check my knees, I check my posture, check everything. I've tried EAM, everything, and there seems to be something else behind it. Could you give me any ideas? And she said, I'm a perfectionist, and it's held me back with a fear. What has held me back is fear in a lot of ways, and I know I overanalyze. I meditate and do mindfulness and feel better than I was, but I don't seem to be able to shift in some way. Sorry about the long question. Thank you for the long question, Sarah. I'm hoping, I'm not sure if you saw the explanation that we had here. Think we're going to have another conversation, another drawing. Okay, so this is another one for you guys to draw. Follow along. So this is similar to what we were just drawing on our, we're going to wear a skirt this time. So imagine what we were just drawing with the aura. Now I want you to imagine that there is a funnel of energy that runs through you. And you don't need to imagine it because this is actually part of your energy system. Now your funnel runs from above your head all the way down through your body, down into your feet. I haven't got time to explain to you how it's structured and where it comes from, etc. But just imagine your funnel is your power source. It's your battery. It has a positive and a negative. It's your amount of energy that flows into your energy system. Now, your funnel, imagine it was water. The pipe that runs through the middle of you could be like the width of a hose pipe, and that would be great. It could all be free flowing, but it's literally the width of a hose pipe. Or you could have one that's the width of a drain pipe. Or you could have one the width of I was going to say sewage pipe, but that's not quite the right picture. You could have one the width of a water pipe, the water mains. Or you could have one the size of a river. Or you could have one the size of an ocean. So with what I was talking about earlier, with your energy field gets collapsed in because there's loads of stuff holding into it and things holding you back, it's usually, think about this as another part of the same picture, what stops your aura being open and expanded is this flow that runs through the middle. So one of the first things that we do show you, the first pieces of the puzzle, if you really want to start putting EAM into practice in your life, is actually working on your energy system first. So we show you how to work on expanding your funnel. We show you how to use EAM to open up your chakras. We show you how to use EAM to clear your energy and clear your aura and open up your energy field so that the plumbing, I want a better word, but so that the system itself is actually working. Because otherwise, everything else that you then try to do, or when you try and put EAM into practice, it's not that it won't work, it's just that it won't be as powerful because the power, your funnel, it was like spitting out a little bit of water. It's like, yeah, we're going to put a little manifestation out into the world instead of big open energy field. I am ready to allow whatever it is that you're asking for. So step number one is literally, let's get the system open and free flowing. Let's get your aura working for you. Let's get your energy free flowing. Let's actually open you up. Then you start thinking about how to put it into practice in all of these different areas. I haven't got time to teach you tonight, but the big journey that we used to take people on is actually focused on how to put EAM into practice to change your life. Because there is actually, it's like a domino effect. And if you start over here and finish over there, you'll be able to knock down these walls far more easily than trying to knock it down here and a little bit there 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 and a little bit there. Because if you just kind of take the scattergun approach, yes, it will create some shifts, but you won't see the transformations that you do when you do it in a systematic way to get your system working with you. So it's more than a quick fix. I really need to say this to you as well. EAM is about creating proper lifelong change. This is not a typical, use this in 15 minutes a day and you're going to see everything in your life magically manifest and the £1 million is going to land in your bank account tomorrow. I'm really sorry, this isn't one of those things. But if you want to actually figure out how to use something that will create long-lasting change without it, going back to exactly the same tomorrow, then that is what EAM is all about. And so it takes a little bit of time, it takes a little bit of energy to start using it and putting it into practice. Once you get it, you're off. There are so many things that you can start putting it into practice on. But if you're looking for like just a, sticky plaster, quick fixy kind of thing and then move on to something else again tomorrow or the day after. Does everyone know what I'm talking about? please know that I mean them with all the love in the world. But this is about a lifelong tool. This is something you can use in lots of different ways. And so the little bit of time that you invest in learning how to use it and actually putting it into practice will save you days and hours and weeks and months of just sticking sticky plasters over something as a quick fix. All of that said, I completely get that you want to feel better today. And by using EAM, you can feel shifts in 5 or 10 or 15 minutes about that subject. But if you really want to change your life, it means putting it into practice consistently. And it's the same with whatever you're doing. But I know it in my heart, and we've seen it with hundreds and thousands of people who've used this. When you actually start putting it into practice every day, the changes become quicker. And then the crazy manifesting, you can manifest something in the next 5 minutes stuff does start to happen. But it comes because you've actually committed to yourself and you've done this work. You've cleared up all of the crap that's been lying around in your aura and in your energy field and in your system, and open yourself up to all of the possibilities. That excites the pants off of me, and that's why we keep on sharing what we do, because we've seen it happen time and time again. So just take the time to start putting what we teach you into practice. Take the time to use it, and you'll soon start to see the changes. Hoping this makes a sticky plaster over a broken leg never helps. Exactly. Thank you. So, Helen says, why did my digestion become so noisy when we released resentment and blame this morning? Oh, I love it when you get that kind of feedback from your energy. So we are actually working, and I haven't been teaching you all of this. Those of you who are doing Fear to Love Live with us over a series of days, we are actually working through clearing your energy system and working on your chakras with all of the different lives. And today, resentment and blame is actually your solar plexus, which is exactly here. So I love that you got a big gurgle and your digestive system kicked back into action because we were working on your solar plexus. So that will be why you got a big loud rumbly sound back from your tummy. Adrian, it's so good to see you on here. One of the things that happens to me is when I don't get a clear response from my sway, I sometimes go with what I feel need to be worked on. I'm not necessarily consciously forcing things, as I'm still asking my unconscious, am I cheating the process? So I love that you've been so honest. No, you're not cheating the process. When you work on what you think you know needs to be worked on, yes, it will help because you are working on a belief that you think that you've got a problem around, which means that there is actually a belief held in your energy system that you need to do the work on. I hope that made sense. And if your sway isn't working in response to the question you've asked, it's usually because you haven't quite asked the right question. And so, again, like I was saying earlier, once you start to actually know the process, get an idea of some of the really good questions to use, to ask your sway, to get clear on what's showing up for you, or learn the different ways to approach a situation. So if you've been doing the Fear to Love Lives, you've heard me talk about what happens in your energy, you know, what colour is it, what size is it, what shape is it? And you've seen me teach you the numbers process. How many of something do you have? When you learn the different approaches, and there are 5 different approaches to put EAM into practice, once you know those, you can explore, you'll know when to use them, when to put them into practice, what questions to ask, and it will help give you that clarity at step 3 before you move on to step 4. And sometimes it's just a little side question that will help open up exactly what it is to give you the specificity that you need to. All of that said, EAM is also really, really, really simple. And even our mentors who've been training with us for like the last year and a bit, we still teach them that it's about keeping it simple. All you need is to know how to use EAM in 3 ways. What happens in your energy, so exactly like I just described, the numbers process, so how many of something do you have, and what emotions are you experiencing. And those of you that are doing Fear to Love, you'll see that we've been teaching you the emotional scale. In fact, I might be able to show you this super quickly if I've got it here. Here we go. So those of you watching on Facebook, this is the emotional scale. And basically the reason that we say this is you've got 3 main ways that we experience life. We have this experience in our energy field that we call feelings, or we can't quite put our finger on. We have thoughts and beliefs about situations that often hold us back. We don't feel our thoughts, but we definitely know that they're going on, and they can derail us for a whole day or a week or a month or a lifetime. And then we have our emotions. So even if all you do is learn those 3 different ways of using EAM, you can change so much in your life, because all of them will sit under one of those 3 brackets. What's happening in my energy? How many of something do you have? Or what's happening emotionally? And that is the best, simplest, easiest, fastest way to put EAM into practice. Even when you've been using it for a couple of years, it still comes back to the simplicity. Keep it simple, and you'll find that you create shifts far more quickly than trying to overcomplicate it with exploring where did it come from, or how did it happen, and what was I feeling, and who else was involved. And they're great and useful insights, but actually the simplicity is usually where the power is. Okay. Okay. Got a question from YouTube. Please advise me on how to get more energy and improve my memory. I live with ongoing health issues that impact my body daily. I have plastic mesh in my body that's causing a lot of issues. Thank you. Physical health stuff. This is a very controversial conversation given certain situations that are happening in the world right now. So, physical health. If you were here, I'm not sure if you were watching earlier on when we were talking about this, but our aura, our energy field, our physical body is part of our energy field. From an energetic perspective, and I'm going to be mindful how I say this and just be very clear. From an energy perspective, when we talk about energy healing and the world of what's actually happening in your biofield and how it influences and impacts your physical health, when we look at it from that perspective, the way that we would work on physical health conditions is to work on what's happening in your energy field first. Your physical body is reading your environment all of the time. Your nervous system is reading the temperature of the room, it's reading what's happening in the environment. You know that feeling you just get when you meet somebody. You don't have to touch something hot to actually know that it's hot. Your body will sense it before it becomes anywhere near. Your nervous system is reading your environment all of the time, and this is a much bigger teach than I can talk about tonight, but it's actually your whole energy field is reading your environment all the time. Now, if you take your environment to include all of these things that we've been talking about here, the thoughts and beliefs, the emotions, the past experiences, the big balls, the gaps, the fissures, the cracks, the split off energy reversals that happen when we were younger. Imagine all of this is like debris flying around in your energy system. Your physical body is reading that environment all the time, and it's like, oh, there's a big danger signal over here, and there's a danger signal over here, and there's a massive great big black hole over here, and there's this thing over here. And so what happens over a period of time is that our physical body then starts to pick up these aches and pains and these grumbles and these symptoms. And that's our sign from our physical body, like there is something for you to do. You really need to pay some attention before this actually becomes something that makes you sick. So these things that we've been working on, this heaviness in our heart or this feeling in our stomach, is what we're experiencing in our energy. So what we're trying to do with doing EAM is actually clear the space, clear your energy field, so that your body is no longer reading danger or alarm signals in your environment. So when you work on the thoughts, when you work on the beliefs, when you work on the past experiences and open your energy field up, what that actually creates is this receptive state, this flow state, where your body, all bodies, all different layers of your energy body can actually begin to do what they do best, which is to heal themselves. So I am not going to say, and I cannot promise, that by using EAM you can start to heal physical health conditions. However, by putting this into practice, you can put your body in the flow state. And it's been scientifically shown the flow state, i.e. not the stress state, being in flow is a measurable, scientifically measurable physiological state where your body releases endorphins, it stops releasing stress hormones and chemicals into the body, it allows your body to start clearing out the energy system and the filtration systems, it allows your cells to start doing what they're supposed to be doing, it helps them to function in a normal way, they start to detox, they start to take in oxygen, and then your body will get back to its normal function. Normal function means that your body can then begin to heal. I'm not promising any overnight miracles, but that's the way to use EAM and start putting it into practice. And many symptoms that people experience with physical health, you can use EAM to work on, because the symptoms are energetic or can be dealt with energetically by releasing these resistances or releasing these reversals, which creates the space, creates the receptive state that your body can then put into practice. Right, where are we? I think, oh my God, there are so many of you still here, bless you. I'm just going to make sure we're still live. We are. Okay, so we've got a couple of questions for you. And those of you that are still tuning in and here, would you just, for a moment, let us know what would be the best thing we could do to support you in putting EAM into practice in your life? I know you've asked lots of questions tonight, and I'm hoping that we've given you some insight into where to do this. But everything that's going on right now, I know so many people are desperate to use this, or desperate is probably the wrong word, really want to use this and put it into practice. And as you've seen from all the questions we've had tonight, there are so many different ways to put it into practice and places to put it into practice. And actually, the beginning point is really using it simply to begin with before you start building on some of the next steps. What would be the most useful thing that we could do for you to help you get started with using this? So, I'm just going to give you some ideas then. I'm not going to give you any ideas because I want you to if you could just let us know what would be the most useful thing we could do to help you use EAM every single day. And whilst you're doing that, I'm going to have a really, really quick drink. And I'm just going to hand the laptop back. Hold on one second while you're doing that. Laptop's back. Gotta love the science of technology. What would be Awesome. Let us know underneath. A reminder to do it with feedback form on results. Ooh. Can you sum it up in a chart? That way we can see it all the time. Yes. So I'm just reading some of your replies. Hold on 1 second. The Fear to Love Lives came at just the right time. I've been thinking about how to do EAM on a daily basis. I find this amazing start to the day. I'm not sure what else. Okay, some of you are still replying on there. Hold up. It's really off-putting. I'm looking at myself like a minute ago on the Facebook Live. Awesome. Okay. Where else are we? Sorry, I'm just reading. Remind to do it with forms. Can you sum it up in a chart? The lives have come at the right time. Really helps having a step-by-step process, as I've never known where to start. It'd be great to work on the energy funnel or have some guidance on how to work to begin. Awesome, awesome. So one thing that we've been, and I promise you this isn't going to be like, oh, we're going to sling up a link. This really is a question because we want to serve you all as powerfully as we possibly can. There are so many places to begin, and we've been sharing this now for over 6 years. We've helped over 50,000 people around the world. We've got over 120, I think, mentors trained in the modality. And I'm like, oh, I want to share that, and I want to share that, and I want to do this, and we want to do relationships, and we want to do divorce, and we want to do anxiety, and we want to do money, and we want to do this, and we want to do grief, and we want to do loss. And it's like, I want to share all of it with everybody. And I know that the place for you to begin is simply to start putting it into practice every day. And once you do that, once it becomes a habit, you find the flow state, things become easier, you actually find space to then actually put it into practice in changing your life. But usually people are so stuck in the chaos or the drama or even just the day-to-dayness of life, even though they really want to do it, they don't always have the time. So one of the pieces of the puzzle, which I wonder, and this is a question, would this be useful to you? If we created 100 powerful daily affirmations on all of the different subjects, health and wealth and happiness and your purpose and clarity and emotions and getting your energy sorted, along with the associated step 4s, so that you can work on releasing all of that resistance beforehand, along with then giving you visual reminders. So like, instead of writing on your lovely little piece of post-it note, I promise I'm going to manifest £1 million today, if we gave you things that you can print out and pop up, or affirmation statements you can have on your phone that you can just have to be able to use, along with guided affirmations. So when I lead you through the step 5s, those that you've been doing the Fear to Loves, if we created these 10 guided transformational audios to actually put them into practice, would that be something that's of use to you? Would it help you use it to start putting it into practice to create some more space? That was a very long-winded question, but just a big fat. And if you can write big fat yes, if that would be helpful to you, just for those of you that are watching this either now or on the replays later, because we're wanting to help find the easiest way for you to put this into practice. So just type big fat yes if that sounds like fun, or if that sounds like something that would be useful to you. Big fat yes. Big fat yes. Cool. Good. That was a really easy question to ask you. I don't think there's anything else. I've just given the laptop back. So if Claire's writing any other messages to me anywhere else, Because I know the biggest thing is, like you said, what words to say, how do I start putting this into practice, how do I come up with these big, expansive, creative step 5 statements that make me feel good. If we can give you those along with the step 4s, because the step 5s won't be anywhere near as powerful if you don't do the work to release the resistances from your system first, then you've got the powerful step 5 affirmations that you can use when you're walking the dog, or I don't know, out for a jog, or if any of you are getting out the house to jog, or doing washing up, or doing the hoovering, or whatever. You've got us there to listen to, and you can simply repeat the words out loud afterwards. A big fat yes. Thank you, says Andy. Awesome. Okay, we're on the right track. So that's really, really good to know. We are literally in the middle of starting to just formulate some ideas for you. And even those, thank you, Vicky. I know those of you that are part of the family already, I know how useful this will be, because it's just the more you can keep yourself in the flow state, the more you'll see things start to change, the quicker your life will begin to shift, and then you'll start to see the magic come in. So that is the exciting piece of the puzzle for us. The quicker we can get you and everybody else in flow, the more we'll start to see some of these situations in the world shift and change. So with all of that said, I'm going to invite you to join me in a big step 5 for us to wrap this call up tonight together, because we've been going for an hour and 40 minutes. My God. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and stand with me if you can, or sit on the edge of your chair. And if you can't stand, that's absolutely fine. Just place your palms face up, or arms up above your head. And let's just tap into this powerful collective energy of all of us that are here together. Take a nice deep breath in and out. And just consciously open up your energy field. Imagine you're expanding your physical body to fill the room. Make sure that you're stood up straight. Imagine a white light coming down through the top of your head, down through your legs into your feet. And repeat out loud after me. I am ready to allow myself to receive all of the amazing things which are coming into my life. I allow myself to be open to all possibilities, to the support, love, guidance, transformation that's waiting for me. I allow all of this into my energy in all forms, on all levels, and at all points in time. I am ready to allow myself to stand fully in my power. I am grounded, strong, stable, confident, and secure. I allow myself to be open to all possibilities. I allow all of this into my energy, in all forms, on all levels, and at all points in time. I am ready to allow myself to receive more light, love, healing, happiness, connection, transformation. I allow myself to be open to receiving all of the amazing things, the abundance of source and life, as I create this space of flow and alignment for myself and others around me. And I just want you to imagine you're sending all of this beautiful energy out from your heart space to fill your house, sending it out through wherever you live. Imagine it just rippling out around the town, across the country, and just imagine it's connecting into all of us tuned in live tonight or connecting in on the replay. wrapping it round the planet, this beautiful field of light. Just consciously sending it out to everyone. I allow this into my energy in all forms, on all levels, and at all points in time. Just nice deep breath in. And then whenever you feel ready to, just bring your arms down by your side. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all of you who have been here this evening. I truly hope that it's been a useful, random, squiggly picture teach for you. I hope that you're feeling more present, more grounded, more connected. Please continue to show up for the Fear to Love Live. Please remember to keep on sharing this far and wide. There are so many people calling out for this right now who have no idea of the possibilities, the power, the potential that they have. When you're joining us on the lives, please share it on your page, in your groups, tag a friend, whatever it is that we need to do to get this message out there, because there are literally billions of people on the planet right now calling for a way to feel better. And I think or hope or know, if you're here watching this, that you have felt this or seen this for yourselves. So thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. It's been awesome doing a late night chat. I was going to wear my pajamas. Maybe next week, if we do another one, I will literally rock up in my gym jams, because I know you all are, and it's 9:45 at night and I want to be in my gym jammies. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you all of you who are here and have taken part tonight. We will keep you posted on the step 5s, pulling that together for you, because we just want you to be putting this into practice every single day so you can start seeing the magic for yourself. So please thank all of our amazing team who've been here supporting you on the channels, answering your questions. Send them all some love, and they are always here every day pulling this together and helping us take this out in the world. They really are bloody amazing, quite frankly, and none of this would be happening without them. So please can you send all of them, our ninja energy elves and angels in the background who are, Vicky says I'm in my PJs. I'm going to put my PJs on now. But please do give them some thanks and some love for helping keep all of this going for all of you. Thank you, 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 thank you. Just remember, always, always, you have the power already. You have the answers inside of you already to change your life. You simply need to discover what they are for you. And I hope that by following the 5 steps of EAM, you will discover much more of what that will be. So I'm going to put my jammies on. Right. Love to you guys. See you all soon.